My sister thinks that I'm purposefully stealing her spotlight because I got pregnant only 2 months after her.
Okay, so here's some background information. My sister is 31 years old and has been married to her husband, 35 meters, for 5 years now. They have been trying to get pregnant for a really long time, almost 3 years, and now they finally succeeded. I'm 23 years old and have been dating my boyfriend, 27 meters, for 3 years now, and my pregnancy was not planned. Both my boyfriend and I decided to keep the baby, but we didn't get pregnant on purpose. My sister announced her pregnancy 4 months ago. Right now she's 7 months pregnant, which means that I am about 5 months pregnant. Initially I wanted to wait with my pregnancy announcement, but I'm starting to get to the point where I cannot hide my pregnancy any longer, so I had to tell my family. My family isn't exactly thrilled that I'm having a child while being so young, but they are supporting my decision to keep the baby. Well, except for my sister. She thinks I'm stealing her spotlight, and she thinks that I got pregnant on purpose just so all the attention would be directed towards me instead of her. She's constantly texting me and telling me what an awful sister I am and that I should have not kept the baby. I never wanted to have this much attention. I'd even be glad if people were entirely focused on my sister rather than me. I've always had a really good and strong relationship with my sister, and it's hurting me that she thinks I got pregnant with malicious intent. What can I do in this situation? And how can I fix the relationship with my sister? TLDR. My sister thinks that I'm purposefully stealing her spotlight because I got pregnant only 2 months after her. I never wanted to have this much attention. I'd even be glad if people were entirely focused on my sister rather than me. Tell her exactly that. Edit. My solution was for keeping the peace, but the replies to my comment have made me realize, no, that's capitulating to emotional terrorism. Tell her to be glad for you or to fuck off. Plus let her know that you even waited 4 months before telling anyone that you were pregnant. Hopefully that will count for a little something. On a side note, your sister needs counseling. Seriously. Instead of being happy for you, and the fact that you two can raise your kids together, she went in a completely negative direction. This is a huge red flag. No, don't tell her that at all. Tell her that not everything in life is about her. That of all the things that have nothing to do with her, this has nothing to do with her the most. The fact that she thinks you're a bad person, and that you should kill your baby so that you don't deter from her spotlight, tells you that she needs to get her shit together, and yesterday. She's about to have a fucking child and she's worried about her spotlight. I feel bad for her fucking kid. If she is 31, she has probably already had many friends get pregnant easily, and the infertility journey has likely been quite emotionally stressful for her. She also may think of you as too young, given your age difference, and probably never expected to be pregnant at the same time as you. She is definitely being really immature in how she is handling her emotions, but I would try to go kind of easy on her given what she has likely been through. I had a longtime friend who had struggled with infertility, and when I told her I was pregnant, I wanted to tell her so she didn't hear it secondhand. She sobbed. It was a horrible moment for both of us, but I know that it was not a reflection of how she felt about my baby and just her own grief response. I hope long-term that this experience brings you two closer together. She will be an amazing resource to you in the early months when the baby's week-to-week development is so fast, and then by the time they are toddlers the age difference won't be significant. Fingers crossed she can get through this without saying anything hurtful to you. IDK. As someone who has had serious fertility issues myself, and I am pretty close to the older sister's age, I don't understand this reaction. I understand the punch to the gut feeling, because I've been there with my younger sister myself. It had nothing to do with her, and I love that she was able to have a beautiful baby, and I love the child with every piece of myself. But the news was sickeningly sweet. But to say she shouldn't have kept her child just because it took the eldest a long while to conceive and little sis is now stealing her thunder is verging on psycho. And I don't mean psychosis, I mean crazy bitch who needs a reality check. Does it hurt that others can get pregnant easier? Yes. Does it hurt to go to everyone's baby shower when all you want is your own? Absolutely. Do pictures of your friends and family's children growing up make you happy but sad? You bet. But big sister crossed a major line. A line that shouldn't ever be crossed, even if it's to your worst enemy. I'm hoping the sister realizes what she said is many levels of wrong and comes to apologize. This hits me hard because one of my best friends and I were reminiscing a few days ago about our fertility trips. My husband and I started TTC in May 2017 and had a miscarriage 4 months into trying. My best friend and her partner got together in April of 2018 and got pregnant with their daughter that July. She called me up and was expecting a bad reaction because hubby and I had been trying for a year at that point. I was super excited for her, which she was taken aback about, but also happy because she wasn't getting much support from others, which she understood. I only found this out a few days ago when we talked. I told her that my fertility issues weren't going to get in the way of my feelings for being happy for her. On the other hand, my younger sister was being vindictive towards me because I didn't give her the reaction she wanted when she announced her pregnancy with my niece. I stole her thunder by saying she was pregnant before she announced to our other sisters and parents without her telling me she was. I apologized and was super happy for her, but the damage was done. She didn't tell me she was pregnant with my nephew. She got our youngest sister to tell me, and my dad got on her ass to tell me herself, but at that point I wasn't doing so good mentally and she rubbed it in my face. She was pregnant a second time without trying, so it was harder to be happier for her when she was kicking me down. We finally did get pregnant last year and our little guy loves seeing his extended family on video chat, and my sister and I are on better terms. We never were and probably never will be super close, but this is about as good as it'll get. Have a one-on-one with your sister and tell her that you never intend on trying to steal her spotlight and you still don't want it, but that you want your kids to have a good relationship as cousins. Does it suck seeing a younger sibling get pregnant so easily when you've been trying so long? Yes, but she needs to let that go for her pregnancy, which is so much easier said than done, but she doesn't need to be stressing over something insignificant. This is coming from someone whose sister plays the victim and tries to create drama where there is none. I have so been there. My nephew is about 6 months older than my son, and his mom was convinced that I had had my son just to steal her precious moments. The whole thing was made even more ridiculous by the fact that I lived overseas and she lived in the same town as the rest of the family, so she got them by proximity anyways, lol. If you've had a previously good relationship, I'd chalk this up to pregnancy hormones and COVID craziness. Maybe also a bit of jealousy that she had so much difficulty getting pregnant, but for you it happened without even trying. Yeah, this sounds like a reasonable assumption. Doesn't excuse her behavior though. If I were Op, I'd send a short message calmly stating that their pregnancy was unintentional, they have no desire to steal sister's spotlight, and they're very excited for both babies to arrive. However, they're not comfortable with how sister has been treating them and will be cutting back on interactions until she's ready to be more respectful. Then do exactly that. People seem to think it's all sexist propaganda that women go crazy during pregnancy. And while this is true in 95% of pregnancies, there are still women, though few, whose personality, emotional state and mental health totally shift because of pregnancy. My ex-stepmom changed so horribly that she never recovered. She literally went crazy, which is an extreme case obvi, but don't disregard pregnancy mood swings and hormone stuff. It's serious. Yeah, I agree. Just keep in mind that hormones can be intense, and she's probably not thinking clearly as her emotions are elevated and clouding things for her. If you can, just let it go and don't worry about it for now. This is likely something that she will feel silly about and apologize for down the road when she realizes she was in the wrong. There's no use poking the bear and making things worse, other than letting her know the obvious, which is that it wasn't planned and you aren't trying to steal her thunder. My wife got pregnant at 28 with our child, and then 1 month later her sister accidentally got pregnant at 40. We had some family members get mad at her for stealing our time, since she had already had 2 kids. We of course didn't care. The good news is my daughter got a cousin her same age that she is close to, which was a blessing. I think your sister is in the wrong, but I'd suggest to try to give her some slack because I believe your kids may share a pretty special relationship in the future. I'm honestly appalled that your sister said you shouldn't have kept the baby when she's been trying to have one for so long. Does she not actually realize how precious that life is? Or does that only apply to her own baby? WTF is wrong with her? She should be happy for you. Your kids get to grow up together being so close in age. You didn't tell anybody about your pregnancy until you had to, so you're clearly not showing off. I hope your sister checks herself before she's responsible for another human being. That's concerning behavior. She needs a therapist, and that's how you fix the relationship. I would block her and not speak to her until she's being rational. I can't imagine how she would treat your baby once it's here. Oh God, your sister is awful. She straight up told you you should have not kept the baby. I'm sorry, but that's disgusting. You want to fix the relationship? You're not the problem, she is. If she doesn't want to fix it, it's not your fault. I get that she wanted to have a baby for a long time, but that's crossing the line, especially since you didn't mean to get pregnant either. Yay. That was the point that I stopped caring about how hard this must be on her older sister emotionally, and that she's probably terribly insecure, jealous, etc. Like, holy crap, lady, what, do you think the day you announced your pregnancy your sister and her boyfriend rushed home and went, "We'll show them"? Going at it until they succeeded? Did your sister even announce her pregnancy at 2 months? Because I'm willing to bet you were already pregnant by the time she told you and the rest of the family. You just weren't aware of this fact yet. Most people, especially couples who have had difficulty conceiving, wait to announce a pregnancy until they are past the danger zone, which is after the 3-month mark. The math doesn't add up, is what I'm saying. Wow, have you ever stolen the spotlight before? Like, is there a history here? Is she the black sheep and starved for attention? Otherwise, wow, she's a straight jerk saying you shouldn't keep your baby cause she wants all eyes on her. Sociopath level. Geez. I'm sorry you're having to deal with this madness. Have you discussed this with your parents? How she's accusing you of stealing her spotlight and is urging you to not keep the baby? What are their 2 cents? She seems really immature for a 31-year-old to be texting you with that stuff. If she got pregnant for the attention, that's her problem. I would honestly just ignore her, though I know that may be hard. Trying to explain yourself to her is just going to show her that it's okay for her to act like that, because now she's getting more attention for being pregnant becomes there's more drama involved. She sounds like she needs a therapist to be 31 and acting like that. We as a society need to go back to being assholes. Your sister is being narcissistic. Put her in her place, tell her to STFU because you are pregnant too, so what? So is millions of other women. Can't blame being a self-centered asshole on pregnancy hormones. She should be happy that not only is she becoming a mother but an aunt to a baby boy or girl just as you are. Instead, she's about to ruin the sister relationship that y'all have. Just you. She thinks people get knocked up and alter their entire futures and lives to steal her thunder. Sounds like she's going to be a griat parent. Maybe the universe kept her getting pregnant for her own sake. If she's this big of a baby at 31, she would have been a disaster of a mother at 27 FFS. I am 30 and currently 39 weeks pregnant. Ours was also a surprise. My advice is to not try and fix diddly squat with your sister. If she implies this again, you simply say, I feel sorry for you that you think anyone would change the next 20 years of their lives to spite you in some way. Grow up. There's a baby on the way, and this kind of self-victimization is a toxic parenting style to bring a child into, you're both about to be mothers. Act like adults. You didn't do anything wrong, and she frankly sounds like she's going to be a petty shitty parent if this thought could even occur to her. Edit. To those saying the confrontation is too harsh, I'm keeping in mind this is an older sister who is being petty and fucking horrible to her baby sister. That this poor girl feels the need to fix anything is so fucked up. Op will likely take a softer approach. I would just worry that will validate the 31-year-old's mean-spirited hissy fit. And the people blaming this on pregnancy hormones are perpetuating a horrible stereotype that pregnant women are psychotic, unrelenting hormonal animals. They are not. Pregnancy hormones might make you cry easier, or annoyed with your spouse or your job or whatever. They don't make your brain evil and petty to the point of accusing your 8/9 year younger sibling of something this fucking crazy. While I agree with everything you wrote here, I take exception with, maybe the universe kept her getting pregnant for her own sake. As someone who is also currently pregnant but suffered through 3 years of infertility, this is such a messed up way of thinking. Are you seriously suggesting that people suffering from infertility deserve it in some way? Bad people get knocked up easily all the time. Where was the universe there? Let's not ignore that the sister is being rude to her here. She said that she called her an awful sister, and that alone makes me think she's having an internal issue. Like maybe she was looking forward to the praise and attention she'd get from finally being pregnant and is now upset that she has to share that with her sister. I don't think Op owes the sister any type of explanation just based on how she's throwing assumptions and texting her with rude messages. Especially since they used to be close. If her sister knows anything about her, then she'll know that's not what Op was trying to do. I think she has her own issues to work out, but it's not your place to feel bad about this or apologize or explain anything. This isn't your fault. She sounds like a bitch. I mean, you got pregnant accidentally and she's mad that you didn't get an abortion because to her you're stealing her spotlight. Hell, it doesn't even matter if you got pregnant on purpose. People's lives don't revolve around hers. I would add that maybe some of the animosity could be pregnancy hormones, but that still doesn't give her a pass to act like that with you. She's about to be a mother. Tell her it's time to start acting like it. If she's going to continually harass you over it, it might be time to give her a timeout and distance yourself. It'll be better for you not to have to constantly stress over someone else acting jealous and childish. Ask her straight up, you want me to terminate my pregnancy to make you happy? Because you think you're the only one allowed to have a child? How selfish can you be to even ask something like that? Your family are borderline assholes as well. You're 23, your BF is 27. You're not 16-year-olds. You're an adult, and as long as you can both reasonably take care of yourselves, then there is no reason to think you can't take care of a baby. This is funny to me because I got pregnant and my sister got pregnant exactly 2 months after me. My daughter was born July 19th and hers September 19th. My daughter and my niece are best friends. It was weird, but it's frankly the best because you guys will be going through it all at the same time. Tell her to chill out and enjoy it. You can't fix this. It's not an excuse, but I'm sure your sister is upset because she tried so hard to get pregnant and wanted a child, and here you are having one on accident. That has to be causing her pain. At the end of the day, she will have her child first. I don't know if you have other siblings who have children, but seriously, the first boy and the first girl are what matter to most grandparents, aunties and uncles. Anything after that is extra, and people are happy to hear they are healthy. I wish you both the best, but this is something you're going to have to let your sister work out on her own. I can sympathize with the difficult time your sister had conceiving and how painful that must be. I can also understand that it is probably challenging for her that you were able to accidentally get pregnant after she struggled for so long. What I can't understand is her so openly being hateful to you about it. And her saying that you shouldn't have kept the baby. That is taking it way too far. This could have been seen as a wonderful thing. Your children are going to be so close in age and can grow up together. That's wonderful. It's a real letdown that she can't try to see the positive in the situation. I would cut off contact for now until she can get help and sort out her own issues, because this is not a you problem, it's a very clear her problem. It's not your responsibility to fix her, and it's not your responsibility to fix the relationship. You're about to have a baby, you have enough to worry about. Hopefully in time you two can mend things, but right now she needs to sort herself out. I wouldn't say you're too young at having a baby. Maybe in the early teens would be early, but to me being in the 20s to 30s are the sweet spot for having children. 40s and later on, and it just get difficult to have any unless you adopt. Try to explain it was all I'm assuming you haven't here, and that you weren't trying to. But explain you weren't going to hide it either. And that you wished that she got all that attention. Tell her, even if you explained, that now you're both pregnant, that you and her children could play together as they grow up since they're going to be the same age. That is if they get along, that is. But try to explain all this where she can accept it and like it. I kind of know where the sister is coming from. I had fertility issues for a while that my friends knew about and finally told my friends I was pregnant. The one who seems hellbent on copying me in other areas proceeded to get knocked up pretty much that night. I was furious. Your sister stooped extremely low in her comments to you, but her anger stems from pain. This has been a rough go for her to finally be pregnant, and she wants this time to be special. She does want attention, and she wants the focus to be on her pregnancy and baby. She doesn't want to feel upstaged by her little sister who, in her crazy pregnant mind, copied her. You have handled the situation sensitively so far with her, and I think you just need to tell her what you told us, while understanding the suffering she's endured to get to where she's at now. It sounds like you're both very close, and soon enough you both will be even closer with your newborns. Understanding the suffering is fair, but the abortion part is not. Like many have said, that's not her sister's call or choice and should never be something her sister gets to ask for. The only ones who should be involved in that sort of decision at her age, and 23, should be her and her BF. No one else should be presuming to be allowed a deciding vote there, and the sister definitely is trying to get a deciding vote by asking for the termination. If your sister thinks pregnancy is about her, she's in for a rude awakening in a couple months. Congratulations on your pregnancy. It wasn't planned, but sounds like you're in a solid relationship and on a steady path towards motherhood. Let time heal this one for you. The family gets to enjoy 2 new babies. These cousins get a lifetime of joy being so close in age. If your sister is a mature person, she will come to feel embarrassed by her comments. If not, she'll be too busy to be so petty. So congrats. It is very irrational of your sister to accuse you as such. It is very normal to be angry, frustrated and hurt. I doubt if anybody can avoid that. But pregnancy is a challenging period of both of your lives and people become vulnerable and feel weak. You are not expected to, but if you can, you should rise above her on moral grounds and see her as someone who is weak and support her. Again, you are not expected to do so. You are well within your right to be distant from her because she is being completely entitled via *ch to be honest. But there is an alternative is all I am suggesting. Just my opinion, there isn't really anything you can do to fix this situation, because you didn't do anything wrong in the first place. It sounds like your sister has some jealousy towards you. I say this because this is exactly how my sister is. My sister told me that my graduation from university was taking the attention away from her recent marriage, 3rd marriage to be exact. She was mad that I graduated the same month that she got married. My cousin and I are very close in age and are incredibly close now in our relationship. When my sister and I found out we were both pregnant together, we were thrilled. Our kids would always have someone their age at events. 2 of my cousins recently had kids within a few weeks of each other. Again, lots of joy. Babies are happy news. It's exciting and wonderful. Your sister is being a brat. She's acting like a 3-year-old mad she has to share attention. I would mute her until she can get a grip on herself and stop saying things that you will find hard to forgive, let alone forget. Congrats on the unexpected surprise. In a calm, serious way, ask her in front of family if she'd like you to abort your baby so that everyone can focus on her and her pregnancy. Do it as though you are serious. If she says yes, ask her how she'd feel if you insisted she abort her baby so that everyone could focus on you and your pregnancy. If she say no, then ask her what exactly would make her happy. My guess is nothing. Her basic premise is ridiculous, and I am someone who had 8 miscarriages and 1 live birth. Wow, I'm in your opposite situation. I'm the older sibling who finally got pregnant, and my younger sister is a few months behind me with an accidental pregnancy. Unfortunately, I can't offer any perspectives because you previously had a good relationship with her. In contrast, I am estranged from my sister. We aren't that far apart in age, but my pregnancy is very much viewed as planned and stable by comparison. One thing that does drive me nuts is that family members, especially my mom, push me to suddenly have a relationship with my sister because her life is such a shit show and she needs so much support. Meanwhile, I'm over here doing my pandemic pregnancy on hard mode. And I hear it all, but what about them being cousins? Why can't you just support her because she needs so much help? You said your family wasn't pleased with your decision. Fuck them, it's not their decision to make, but I wonder if this might be driving the jealousy to insane levels and causing her to lash out. She should not be sending you those texts, but if every time she gets together with family all they want to talk about is how poor baby sister has an unplanned pregnancy and needs help, it's going to drive that wedge between you two, and the worst part is that's not your intention. I can only encourage you to reach out to your older sister and lay out what you've written here and tell her the nasty texts have got to stop. That's not hormones. I deal with my sister by doing what I've done for years, which is she's not a part of my life, but you might be able to salvage your relationship if that's what you want. If you have family members who are pushing you to do things together, you will need to shut that down because your pregnancies are separate and different. I think the best move is to think about the future. 2 of my aunts had babies days apart, and right now my lil cousins are best friends. It's so cool to see how much my cousins adore each other, and from what I know, my aunts are happy that their sons are BFFs. It really makes the whole childhood BFF thing much easier since they're family. But I would take her resentment seriously. If she carries on like this, her child may start to feel the same resentment towards your child, and it'll be a mess. Have a heart-to-heart with your sister. Tell her what happened in all honesty. If you're excited that your kids may be best friends one day, mention that. Just be genuine with her and I'm sure the issue will resolve. Edit. I'm reading some more comments and they keep calling your sister a horrible person and so on. Your sister isn't horrible, and if you put yourself in her situation, I'm sure you'll understand her frustration. Imagine trying to have a child for 3 years with no luck. The amount of doctor's appointments and negative pregnancy tests must have accumulated over time. That's 3 years of disappointment that is done with once she saw that positive pregnancy test. I'm sure her reaction to your easily acquired accident is just 3 years of built-up feelings over her own difficulty trying to get pregnant. It's very hard to erase 3 years of pain in just a few months.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video. And if you are new, subscribe and click on the bell icon.